Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
नमस्कार, वेलकम टू कॉमन इंडियन वॉइस। श्रोताओं, मैं आपसे ना हाथ जोड़ के माफी मांगती हूँ। मेरी वजह से ना जो ये रेगुलर बेसिस पे हम लोग कर रहे थे, मेरी वजह से कुछ ना कुछ हो जाता है और हम लोग रिकॉर्डिंग नहीं कर पाते हैं। आप लोगों को ना 10 दिन 15 दिन का कभी कभी गैप हो जाता है। तो मैंने इस बार स्वामी जी से रिक्वेस्ट किया है कि हर रोज मुझे 2-2 मिनट के वो वीडियो भेजे, मैं अपलोड करूंगी तो आपकी कनेक्टिविटी भी रहती है और जब हम लोग बैठते हैं तो उस टाइम में आपको हमारा चर्चा भी सुनने को मिलेगा। तो इसके लिए स्वामी जी राजी हो गए हैं एंड मैं आज आई एम वेरी हैप्पी। स्वामी जी वेलकम, गीतांजलि जी वेलकम।
ओम वसुदेव सुदं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानंदं कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुं। ओम।
तो गीतांजलि जी मैं शुरू करूं पहला क्वेश्चन?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी।
स्वामी जी, ये जब जैसे ही चौथा अध्याय शुरू होता है तो भगवान जी बोल रहे हैं कि मैंने ये योग सूर्य को सिखाया, उन्होंने अपने बेटे मनु को सिखाया और उन्होंने अपने बेटे इक्ष्वाकु को सिखाया। तो एक तो ये योग मतलब वो कर्म योग उन्होंने कैसे सिखाया वो, और दूसरा सवाल मेरा ये है कि अर्जुन उनसे पूछते हैं कि ये तो जब मतलब सृष्टि के शुरू में हुआ था तो वो कैसे मान ले कि कृष्ण ने ही सिखाया। हाँ,
भगवान कर्मयोग की जो गुरु परंपरा है, कोई भी शास्त्र एक परंपरा से आता है, तो कर्मयोग की परंपरा बता रहे हैं कि यह बहुत विशाल और व्यापक मान्यता प्राप्त ऐसे था। इट वाज वेरी वाइडली एक्सेप्टेड concept, karma yoga. People were practicing it in daily life, and this I had initiated. The initiator, Adi Guru, was me. So, like in Patanjali Yoga, it is Shiva who is initiating Matsyendranath to Gorakhnath, like that. That parampara is there. So, similarly, this was widely accepted concept of yoga, karma yoga, that by action you can rise in consciousness, and by rise in consciousness you can achieve divinity permanently, be liberated from the cycle of life, death and sorrow. So this is escape from life, death and sorrow, cycle and sorrow is there in every religion. Even in Buddha it is there in Jaina, they call it nirvana, kaivalya prapti. It is there in Christian, Muslim, they call it heaven, God's grace, that they will be liberated from the cycle of life and death. So this karma yoga also liberates one from the cycle of life, death and sorrow. And the beautiful part is we can do it not by some special effort, not by some special faith. Faith will be an additional factor, benefit. But one can do it by their normal life, merely by changing the concept. Change of ego is a very important aspect, a very important side of yoga. You have to change your ego. What is our ego now? Our ego is this, that and that. But from that we change that I am pure, I am divine, aham brahmasmi. When we achieve that level of consciousness by our own work, that is the beauty of karma yoga. From mundane daily life, it connects to the supreme divinity. That is the beauty of karma yoga. And this was done by Rajarshi. Very busy people, they were kings. Who can be more busy than a king and more engaged mentally than a king? So this Rajarshi parampara, so it was much more acceptable that householders can achieve it. in Bhagavata, the Brahmana is said to be one who not only learns the scriptures but also lives by unchi virti, accepting poverty as a means of purification, will not keep even wealth sufficient to sustain them in the next time, means from after, if it is afternoon, for evening they will not keep any wealth with them. That was the concept of Brahmana. Unchi virti they are supposed to do. When the grains are harvested, some will fall on the dry field, so they can collect that. That is their livelihood. That is the allowed livelihood, permitted livelihood. In St. Francis of Assisi also we see, Francis of Assisi for brothers, they say, he says, those who give up their entire life for God and live in utter poverty, only they can convey the message of God to everybody. So this poverty, acceptance of poverty by the highest level of people, highest level of consciousness. So in Karma Yogi, what they do is, they have, a king will have a wealth. King, how can king avoid wealth? But he will not use anything for himself. He will utilize the last pie or penny for service. Seva, yajna is seva. So the whole life becomes a offering, आहुति इन यज्ञ. यज्ञ में आहुति जीवन भर ऐसा बना देते हैं और कुछ सोचता ही नहीं है, स्वार्थ तो उनके मन में आता ही नहीं है. Without any attachment, action has to be done. That is Karma Yoga. So this Karma Yoga was practiced by the kings. Now nobody can have any excuse. So the Guru Parampara is of kings. And that is what I am now giving you. The same advice I am giving you now, Arjuna is told. So Arjuna naturally asks, sun is there from the beginning of creation. At least before any human being or any other life form has come up in this solar system. So how can I know that you gave? How can I know? It is the limitations of Arjuna. Arjuna is not accusing Krishna. He's saying, how can I know it? I have my limitations. How can I know who advised to whom? So Krishna says, you have to trust me. That I have had many lives, you also have had, as Shastras tell you. But I am from the beginning, because I was not born. I was just there. And I have not changed. I am just like that only, as it was in the beginning. And I am the Lord of the entire creation. Anything that is, I am the Lord of that. Because making use of my own energy and power, I have created this whole system. I have created a system, and I have created also the bodies and other designs, patterns, which is called Hiranyagarbha in Shastra. When God is ready to create, that level is called Hiranyagarbha. So this is done by, I have created the illusion and entered it also, knowingly. Others enter it due to ignorance. Somehow the ignorance catch hold of them and they start identifying with something, some pattern in the creation, that I am this. Now that attachment has to be given up to be liberated. That is natural. When you are born, when you come in by a door, to go out you have to use the same door. So you have to give up that attachment, but to give up that attachment, there is a cycle of process. There is a process, there is a cycle. You have to undergo that process, then only you will be liberated. That is the difficulty. Now to make it easier, in the human birth it is possible, nowhere else. So the kings are the Guru Parampara, Adi Guru is Lord himself, and the purpose also is explained in the 7th sloka of 4th chapter. yada yada hi dharmasya glanirbhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamyaham. I create myself in this creation. In my own creation, I assume a body without any attachment, without any prarabdha karma. We all got this body because we have some prarabdha karma. But Lord does not have any prarabdha karma. So he assumed a shape. So it is pure Brahman only, Sachidananda, Paramananda. So Devagi, Paramanandam, Krishnam Vande. He is able to give Paramananda to his own mother by mere appearance because he is Paramananda. So, Abhyuttanam Dharmasya, when the life energy, it sustains the bad traits and it supports the bad traits, and people become evil, become demon-like. Then at that time, I take an avatar. This word is now very famous due to a film. So, avatar, I take an avatar, and that avatar sets the balance again. It destroys those energy forms which are supporting the demonic trends, and it supports the good. So, abhyuttanam adharmasya tada, when there is a tidal wave of bad, demon-like character, asuri sampada, then the incarnation reset the whole thing to protect the good, paritranaya sadhuna, who are virtuous, dharmic, to protect them, because they are very unassuming and they don't create any system to protect themselves. The vicious and the scheming, they surround them from all sides. And when they are entrapped only, they are aware, oh, we have been entrapped now. How can we escape? Then the Lord comes in between. Vinashaya cha dushkrita. The evil is destroyed. So evil is destroyed here itself. Evil is not a competitor to God. It is a competitor only to the living beings. And they try to somehow exercise a mastery over the thought process of living beings. So they all start supporting that demon. Then the Lord sets the balance. Dharma samstavanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Again and again. Yuge yuge doesn't mean in Kali Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga. It is, but in some yuga it will be, because it is in cycles. One Mahayuga consists of 4 yugas and an interim period. Total 43,20,000 years, one Mahayuga. So it will be in some Mahayuga naturally. So Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. Lord's time is in Mahayuga. That Mahayuga is 1 unit of time, like our second or minute.
What is their the choice of profession they've taken? For example, Yogi Adityanath ji was a sannyasi. Similarly, Modi ji was a sannyasi, but they both chose to come into politics because the time was such that it was required by their gurus, by the organizations they belonged to. They were required to come back to politics. So how do we recognize at what time what is our dharma? Like, they are privileged to have the guidance of all the these gurus and swamis, but not all of us have it in our life. So at every time, at every junction of our life, how do we recognize what is the correct path to take? Because we are faced by choices.
The guide is mainly 2. Yena Mahajanagada Sapantha. Because all the scriptures, they give different advices. Shrutir Vibhinna. The Shrutis are saying different things. And Naiko Rishi Yasya Vajanam Pramana. There is no sage who can be accepted as the standard, because there are many, and we may not understand what they are saying. So we have to follow who all are the righteous and the correct persons in the society. We have to follow them. Yad yad ajarade shreshta tatta deve darojana. That is the dictum of Karma Yoga also. You have to follow who all are the Karma Yogis at present. You have to follow them. Mahabharata also says, Yena Mahajanagata Sapandha. Path is which the great men show us. So we have to emulate the good. That is the only. If due to ego we refuse, then we can, in the previous chapter, Lord has said, Bhakti Purna Karma Yoga. How is that done? In 3 slokas. Even if we are confused as to what is right and what is wrong, doing right will invite punya, piety, and doing wrong will invite papa, sin. So not to lead a sinful life, what to do? So God says, whatever karma you do, Mayi sarvani karmani, whether good or bad, do not be worried about that. Mayi sarvani karmani. Every action, even breathing is an action, if you are aware of it. So whatever you are aware of doing, I am doing this, that awareness is there. So Mayi sarvani karmani, all those actions, just offer it to me. Sanyasya adhyatma chedasa. Know that everything is caused by the whole universe. That knowledge also should be there. Without a sun, we cannot do any action. Without an earth, we cannot be alive. This body cannot exist. So whatever is being done by me, the whole entire universe is in support of that. That's why it is happening. Otherwise, it cannot happen. Sanyasya adhyatma chedasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva. Do not have any expectations. Nirashir. Nirmamo. Without any attachment. Attachment and expectations should not be there. That is yuddhasva vigatajara. Keep on plodding. Keep on fighting along the path. And then Krishna says, Mayi sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chedasa. About that, ye me madamidam nityam anutishtan dimanava. The human beings, if they observe this rule, which I have just laid down, Shraddhavando anasuyando, without being any jealous, oh, God has all the power, I do not have anything, that should not come. Shraddhavando, very much devoted, having great trust in these words, Muchyande tebi karmabi, they also will be liberated. So, nothing to worry about. Ye tedadabhya suyando, those who do not, what happens to them? Nanu tishtanti me matam, those who do not observe this rule, my opinion, then sarvajnana vimudanstan, even if they have a lot of knowledge, they may be a scientist in a rocket field, rocket scientist, but sarvajnana vimudanstan, every knowledge he has got, but that is of no use. He is in utter ignorance. Vidhi nashtan achetasaha. He will be lost because he is not aware of the greatness of Lord. So this devotional karma yoga is the main theme in Bhagavad Gita. From 3rd chapter right up to the last chapter, last sloka of duet of Upadesha, this is the Bhakti Purna Karma Yoga. Mayi sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chedasa. This theme is there throughout from 3rd chapter. So that is the another way. Now you can't have any question. Just do it. Okay, go.
गीतांजलि जी, आप बोले कि आपकी बेटी ने कुछ प्रश्न पूछा रहे हैं, आप पूछ लीजिए प्लीज.
Hanchi, my daughter was here from college and she was just asking, she was discussing karma once again. And so her question was very similar to what I asked last time, that when our karma itself is in control of destiny, then how do we say that we should choose this karma or that karma? And then you had told that the intent behind the karma is what matters, the intention with which we do the karma. Now, I was telling her this, and her question on that is that the intention itself is also controlled by a higher power. Then how do we control our intention? Because even that is not in our control. How do we come to terms with that?
This is the reason, means the for existence of sadhana. Why there is sadhana at all? If this is the state of affairs, then sadhana is useless, will not have any effect. But in human birth only, not in the birth which are above, Yaksha, Rakshasa, Kinnara, Gandharva, Deva, in that right up to Trimurti and Tri Shakti, Saraswati, Lakshmi, Kali, up to there, and below human level. Vanara, is it a human being? That is the question itself, indicated by the name. Is it a human being? Vanara. So, from there downwards, there is no scope of sadhana, there is no scope of any improvement from the state in which we are created. But in the human being, there is a window which opens. There is a certain amount of freedom, liberty to choose what to be and what not to be. So all the Dharma Shastras are for that. And what to be and what not to be. That's why this change of ego, the same karma done by two people with a different set of ego will be have a different effect. I usually ask youth, if somebody cuts another with a knife, is it a good action? No, of course not. They will answer. Then I ask, when a surgeon does it, oh, that is good. So the intention, the change of ego causes a different result. So I am to benefit others around me, making one's life an offering. Yajna. The intention is to be an offering. So this window is there only in human birth, only in human birth, I tell, again and again. That's why human birth, and especially one in Bharata, because there are these Shastras, others have very few options, one or two books. Here there are Shastras, a whole set of them, and there are saints even now living and telling these truths. In many, even the Pope placing his hands on the head was saying, the devil has taken over this church. So very few people are there because the atmosphere is very materialist. It's not their fault. Here, those who take a birth, they will get a name of a god. So that Sanatana Dharma is the path of Bharata, is the path of Bharata. Those who choose other paths, it is their choice. But the path of Bharata is Sanatana Dharma. You get a god's name. You are Isha and you are Gitanjali. Just think of the name. If you are born in China, then you will be a Deng Xing Ping. You can't even Understand? They are Sanskrit words actually. They mean very significant things. But for us, it sounds like some, what is it? Some metal things falling down. Their names sound like that. So what I am saying is, I am not being what is called usually people say xenophobic or something like that, very egoistic. What I am saying is, in Bharata and in Sanatana Dharma, there are multiple very psychological things which are told relevant to each action. Each action can be measured on dharmic and adharmic scale. So this choice is there. So it is only in human birth, and especially in Sanatana Dharma, this choice, multiple choice is there. Oh.
I have a connecting question, स्वामी जी. गीतांजलि जी ने जो पूछा है ना, उसी के साथ साथ मुझे एक बार मेरे एक स्टूडेंट ने पूछा था कि अगर हमारा सारा कर्म भगवान ही डिसाइड करते हैं तो हम पाप क्यों करते हैं? अगर भगवान ही डिसाइड करते हैं तो पाप क्यों?
This has been answered very beautifully in Gita, but if I go there, then your time will be not giving anybody. I am not telling anybody to do sin or good act. I am Nishpaksha. But those who do so, I can offer them many paths, many ways to get them liberated from that sin. This is what I do. So God purifies. God does not compel you to sin. Then what compels you to sin? In 3rd chapter, I thought today that thing will come up. It has come up very beautifully in the 3rd chapter, in the last. Arjuna himself asked, Adakkana prayuktoyam pavam charati purusha. Why people sin? That is 36th sloka in 3rd chapter. Anichanna vivarsha. And do not want to sin also. Still do it. Baladiva niyojita, as if they are forced. So this Hario, I can't listen to you. Can you listen to me? Can you hear me?
Yes, Swamiji, we can hear you.
Okay. Adakkena prayuktoyam pavam charati purusha nicchanna vivarshneya baladiva niyojita. So Lord answers, kamayesha krodayesha rajoguna samutta. The nature of rajoguna is attachment, sangha. And due to attachment, there are desires and there are anger also. You like and dislike, the likes and dislikes, but there are desires and there is anger. Kamayesha, Krodayesha. They are the same. Two sides of one coin. You have a desire. There is some obstacle, somebody obstructs your path of desire, fulfilling that desire, and you get angry on that person. So, Mahashano, Mahapatma, they are greedy, so greedy that they keep on devouring. How much ever they are fed, they will not be satisfied. Like Havisha Krishnavat Meva, like pouring ghee into fire, they will be only flare up. Mahashano, Mahapatma. The satisfaction you get when you get your first 100 rupee note, you will not get it when you get it the second time. Because now you want 500. And when the 500 desire is fulfilled, then you desire for 1000 rupees. That way they go on flaring up. Mahashano, Mahapatma, greatly sinful. There is no sin which they cannot force you to do. Of course, unless your parental love or the observation of dharma or shastra or some devotional path or some other ethical path, they prevent you. You will become a great sinner. So the greatest sinners, they certainly become highly pious souls also, because they had peaked. Now they can only come down. So Mahapatma, Vidhi ena miha vairinam. Know them to be the enemy in this case. Here, in this case. Know them to be the enemies. Kama, Krodha from Rajoguna. So it is in the three guna, it is in the creation. And human beings have a choice, they make a bad choice. And the bad choice becomes a compulsion. First time it may be seen to be a compulsion, second time it will be a desire. That is all. So in that way, you get embroiled, tied up, bound more and more. This is the reason. This is a very, very subtle topic which can, for hours, this can be expounded on, but now there is no time. Oh.
Actually,
A
Gitanjali,
small question related to that. So like in Bhagavad Gita, we read about the three gunas controlling our actions. But also Bhagavan says that the three gunas are also controlled by the food we eat. Like he gives us the three kinds of foods. So if we are consuming more of not just the food, but also other activities, if we are consuming more of sattvic, then will our actions or our desires be automatically more sattvic? We're consuming more of rajasic and tamasic and so on. Would it be affected in that manner? Does it mean that?
Means there is a better chance. It is not the sole factor. There is a better chance when you have a sattvic food. And those who eat meat and drink liquor, they naturally tend to be a little aggressive. Those who take vegetarian food, they tend to be a little pacific, not passive, pacific. They may be active, but their energy will be sattvic energy. So the Indian CEOs are considered to be sages in the world. Not because they take sattvic food, but because their family atmosphere is like that, grouping is like that. They have heard these things. So it is there in their personality. So there is a better chance. What is it that is independent? It is not even intelligence which is independent, though we seem to be make our choices through intelligence, discretion. But actually it is the consciousness, rise of consciousness, which causes you to rise from tamoguna, the dull energy, to rajoguna, the bright energy. Raja is light, rajoguna, and to sattva-guna, to the pure energy. So it is the rise of consciousness. They explain some manokendra and mental centers and energy centers and some chakra and all this, but and Brahmadanda is also there right in the middle of your body. There is purest form of your energy. You can just use it and shoot like a shooting star. But all these are there as sadhana paddhatis. But the essential factor is bodha, the consciousness of being is an activity of the consciousness. It is the consciousness itself without a consciousness of being also. When the pure consciousness, totally nirguna consciousness is there, then it is free. It has the choice to be what I choose. It is what has chosen to be, what we are considering ourselves to be now. Aham, I am asmiti, I am this. It chose. That, like I told, these are very intricate and difficult topics. Oh.
गीतांजलि जी रोकना पड़ेगा, टाइम खत्म होने को आया है, तो अगले बार हम लोग करेंगे. एंड जैसे मैंने श्रोताओं को बोला है, मैं हर रोज स्वामी जी से, मैं और गीतांजलि जी हम लोग कुछ ना कुछ टॉपिक दे देंगे. स्वामी जी उस पे 2 मिनट की वीडियोस भेज देंगे एंड मैं अपलोड कर दूंगी. आप लोगों का भी कनेक्टिविटी रहेगा, हमारा भी कनेक्टिविटी रहेगा. तो मैं क्या बोलूंगी, धन्यवाद स्वामी जी, आप वक्त निकालते हैं, समझाते हैं.
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ओम शांति शांति शांति.
श्रोताओं अच्छा लगा तो लाइक कीजिए, शेयर कीजिए एंड सब्सक्राइब कीजिए। एंड मेरा पहला सवाल स्वामी जी, कल अगर आप भेज सकते हैं कि गायत्री मंत्र क्या है, उसका मीनिंग क्या है और वो इम्पोर्टेंट क्यों है, और उसको जाप करने का टाइम भी बता दीजिए, तो दैट इज माय क्वेश्चन फॉर यू। चलिए, सी यू।